All right, we got about
Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Yahushai,
Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS that rule well. Peace and salutations to all the Akim out there on the four corners, teaching the truth and sincerity. It's a Stasha Raquel Moth, here with the brother,
Rock.
of the GMS Dallas camp. Just about to press the button, jump in, and tap in. All right, because this world is about to do it all over again. The same stuff that happened in 2020 is about to go down here in 2025. Okay, they're going to be pushing this mindset of fear upon the populace. All right, and they want you to be dreadfully afraid of something that you cannot see. And so they want you to be afraid of something that you cannot see. They want you to be afraid of the financial uncertainty, the way that America's going right now, because they're moving in a way where, everything is going to fall. But we know that, it's been prophesied about it several times over. All right. But it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that has built us up for this time to come. Okay, Baba Kusha, you got a precept?
Yep. This is Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. It says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life."
Keep your heart. And what is your heart? Your heart is your la'ah, which consists of your heart, your mind, and your soul. Okay? So it says to keep your heart, right? To not allow it to be pushed to and fro with every word of doctrine, loosely paraphrasing. But
yep.
You can speak on it if you want to speak on it.
Nah, just back you up, bro.
But that's what's going on. They want to encapsulate your mind, and basically think for you.
Yep.
All right. And that's what all this, hell and is coming down with. But it's prophecy at the end of the day. All right. And to you have been that have been toiling in this thing of ours, it's just another day, bro. It's just another day. But to you that are just coming in, don't be afraid. All right. Don't have fear of this society. All right. And what it can do to you, because we're already at peace in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But you got it.
Yep. This is 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, "For Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind."
So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai gave us the spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. So he didn't give us the spirit to be afraid of anything that can happen in the interactions of the flesh. All right. Yes, shit happens. If shit didn't happen, it'd be a perfect world. Well, where are we? We're in Babylon the Great right now. All right. We're under the rulership of our enemy. Okay. And the only way that he can, take our eyes off our swivel is by throwing distractions out. And that's all fear is. Fear is a distraction of the mind.
Yeah.
But you got it.
I have some real quick.
Oh, sure.
This is on Wikipedia. It's the definition of a psyop or a psychological operation, because it basically the lives that we live, you know what I mean? Gratefully, we do have the truth, that we can anchor onto. But really, all these people here in Babylon the Great and the West in general, they're operating under a psyop. The government, the powers to be, they're basically running giant psychological operations on their people 24/7, 365. And we've been in it so long that we're like numb to it at this point. But
and if I may speak on that, because it was illegal to do this back in the day. It was like in the 80s, the government couldn't run a psyop on its people because they were doing that overseas to all the other countries. All right. But it wasn't until that dude Obama got in there, where it made it to where the government, the CIA, and the FBI can do psyops on the people to control the minds of the people. Because they're afraid of something. and it's waking up. It's Jake waking up. They're afraid of that, and they want to stop it at all costs. But it's prophecy. Again, it all boils down into prophecy. But you guys, so like,
I'm gonna give it right back to you. I just wanted to read a quick definition. It says the purpose of United States psyops is to induce or reinforce behavior perceived to be favorable to U.S. objectives. They are an important part of the range of diplomatic, informational, military, and economic activities available to the U.S. They can be utilized during both peacetime and conflict. They are operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their motives, objective reasoning, and ultimately the behavior.
See, and all this is meant to control their mind, right? The masses of the people. Okay, they don't want you to think for yourself. Okay, they want to think for you, especially when it comes to things like the MOTB.
Right.
They don't want you to know what that is. They just want you to accept it. When it comes to the next global pandemic, if I can say that, my bad.
Or like on Canadian's Prepper channel, he say day X, like just like the proverbial day when shit happens, shit goes down.
Now, but you have to be in the mindset of allowing the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to move you through this hell. All right, but
you wanted to go to
Psalms
127?
27 and 1.
Okay. This is Psalms chapter 27 and verse 1. It says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?"
See, how about Shemiah Shai, is the reason for the season. Bible Shai, could you read it again?
Psalms 27 and 1. It says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?"
So Yahweh Shemiah Shai is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I shall fear no man. I shall fear no man, no government entity, no, because though we are in the world, we're not of the world. Okay, because this society is dreadfully wicked. The minds of the 2/3 is dreadfully wicked. Those demons send out signals, to keep you in a position where you don't want to crack an egg or step on an eggshell. It puts you in fear 24/7. But that's not of Yahweh by Shemiah Shai. All right.
Yep.
A little bit more.
Psalms 27 and 2. It says, "When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear."
And that's what is about to come upon the elect. You know that Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 21 goes into that. All right, whenever holy hell pops off, okay, and Jacob's trouble, you know, it is in full blown effect. Okay, whenever this happens, people are going to bug the socket. People are going to bug out. People are going to be in a mindset of how can they get it for themselves. Okay, but you know the Most High gave us, like it says in 2 Timothy 1:7, of a sound mind. You know, the men that have been toiling in this thing is going to be at peace because they're going to allow the Most High to move for them.
Did you want that 2 Ezra 16?
Come on, Bible shot.
This is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 21. It says, "Behold, 71. Excuse me. This is 2 Ezra 16, 71. I'll start at verse 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord."
So it's going to be a great insurrection. They're going to come looking for us. They have our pictures. You know, what's this AI that can the AO3 or something like that can use your facial descriptions, you know, and try to put on a picture that you're doing something that you're not. You know, they're trying to paint, you know, us as being an enemy. All right, because of this word. But if they have hated you, they have hated Yahweh Shemi Shah first. And that was written. That was written just for that reason. Just know that you're not going through this fear campaign alone. You know, everybody that is for Yahweh Shemi Shah is going through it.
This is 2 Ezra 16 and 71. It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord."
See, they're going to go around in every city across America, you know, trying their best to get Jake caught up, to pluck them up and to remove them, throw them in concentration camps, you know, trying to make them forcibly receive the MOTB, you know, or denounce Yahweh Shemi Shah. All right. And that's a fearful thing. But the Most High didn't give us the spirit of fear. You know, He gave us the spirit of power. And if you hold fast in Him, you know, all these said parables are nothing. But you can continue.
2 Ezra 16 and 72. It says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen."
See, then they should know who is Yahweh Shemi Shah's chosen. The ones that are catching the most hell, the ones that aren't bucking up and fighting back. They're the ones that wait upon Him, Yahweh Shemi Shah. You know, because He's going to rise up to the prey and take down their enemies. All right. It says that in that Sirach 34. You know, that's a beautiful read if brothers want to go back and read that. But you can continue on. You can go to that Sirach 2.
There's the point I think on this that you wanted 75. We keep going?
Yeah, Bible shot.
This is 2 Ezra 16 and 74. It says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same."
So He's going to deliver us from the hell that's going to spring up in an instant. Okay? That's why you always, hey, what's that? You got to stay ready and not get ready. You know? So that's why you have to cleave into the words that Yahweh Shemi Shah speaks. What is that? The Holy Bible. Okay, these are the words that come out of His mouth.
Yeah.
You know.
And the header of that Psalms 27 that you pulled, the header of that psalm is a psalm of fearless trust in Yahweh Shem Shai.
See, we need to trust in Yahweh Shem Shai for all our goods.
Mm-hmm.
For we can't lean on the hand of Esau anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's time for a change. It's time for that pendulum to switch.
Yep. And that makes me think about David. Obviously because we just read the Psalm. Yeah. Like if you were in that situation, you went from being the king of the world to not even being able to trust your doorman.
Yeah.
When David's son basically rose up that coup against him and tried to take the throne, and David had to flee the city. You went from
okay,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He went from the man being the man to and being in fear of his life on a major level.
But he still had fear in Yahweh Shem Shai.
Exactly.
So he was good.
Yep.
He didn't even really need to do that. He could have stayed where he was, but like real shit. Like, hey man, like you think, but you don't know who my power is. Just like Elijah,
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what my power can do for me because I trust in him. That's at Psalms 91.
Mm-hmm.
But you can continue.
This is 2 Ezra 16:75. It says, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh Shem Shai is your God."
So don't doubt the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, he can get you out of any issue, any problem, legal matters. Don't distrust him to further your existence in this wicked society.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Read that again, Baba Shah.
2 Ezra 16:75. It says, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, is your guide."
So he is the guide of those that he chooses. That he and if you are being steadfast in this truth, all right, if you desire thrones and scepters, as it says in that Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, if you desire to be a king in this thing, and to have that royal mindset, as it says in that Sirach 39, 1 through 5, if you desire these things, Yahweh Shem Shai will give you abundance because you're making him your main priority. All right.
Yep.
But you can.
I got a precept real quick. This is in Ephesians. It's Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20.
Okay.
It says, "Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us." Backing you up. You know what I'm saying? Like when David pulled up on Goliath. David is the only one in that whole entire scenario, that's documented, that believed that he was going to win, and had fervent belief. There was no doubt in David's mind. In a situation like that, you can't have any doubt.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And that's a situation like that. And that, David versus Goliath, that was poetic in a sense, because that's what we're facing now in these times today. All right, in 2025 in Babylon the Great, aka America, this is a David versus Goliath type situation. So we got to remember that even though on a carnal level it can look insurmountable, in the spirit, really, it's light work.
It's like
Yahweh
ain't shit. Yep. I mean, because Yahweh Shem Shai said he's going to take Esau and turn him into a small number on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so and that small number is still going to have to work in the kingdom. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I mean, as as you can see, the whole situation with the nation of Israel, this has been going on for the past, 2,000 plus years. Okay, and we have been up and down, up and down, up and down until the point right now where we've been low this whole time for 300 plus years. We didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But Yahweh Shimei Shai opened up the minds of the elect right before the end to get the victory. But so like
I got a couple.
Yeah.
This is 1 John 4:18, and you can speak on it if you want to. It says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear.
There we go.
Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love."
See, and could you speak on it?
Kind of. Basically a part of, the process of being perfected, because when you come into the truth, you are signing up for the process of being perfected.
Well,
like Yahushua was. Well, what are you going to say?
Well, we didn't come into the truth. Yahweh Shimei Shai brought us into the truth.
Right.
Yeah, but so like you got it.
Kind. Right. When we were called into this, you ain't supposed to stay, you're supposed to mature and you're supposed to grow. Yeah. And then ultimately, like scripture say, just men, we're trying to be at that number that's called the just men made perfect. Yeah. So in order to do that, you're going to have to conquer your fears over and over and over. And then we're coming up to the point now to where this is the main test. All right. This devil coming down with great wrath. This is the final exam, so to speak, in which we're going to have to completely fight down. Do you want to speak on it?
No, you got it.
I have another one.
Wow, sure.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17. And I'm going to start up on this. Yeah. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17, and I'm going to start at verse...
Ooh. You can get out of it, but
yeah, I'm just gonna get to the point on this.
Yeah, you gotta get to the point on that.
Right. This is the Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 12. It says, "For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth."
No, we should look at that word.
And I'm gonna read it in the GNT. It says, "For fear is nothing more than the failure to use the help that reason gives."
Woo!
And that's what succor means. It means help, basically. Yeah. I'll read it one more time. Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 12 in the GNT. It says, "Fear is nothing more than the failure to use the help that reason giveth."
So it's the failure of using the power of Yahweh Shimei Shai. All right, because we just read that in that Psalms 27 and 1. Because he's giving help. He's being a strong stay unto the elect. Yahweh Shimei Shai is. Okay. But those that are in this truth know how to wield that sword. But those that are in the world, they're stuck in the mindset of, I have no help. I have no one that will defend me. When Yahweh Shimei Shai is our ultimate defense.
Yep. That help, or that reason, when it says reason offereth, the reason that we have is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. All right, and the why, like the elder Yahshua always says. Yeah. We understand why. That's like we understand the reason. the reason
for the season.
The reason for the season. Why this is all happening. And why it must happen.
Yeah.
For the Lord's will to be done on the planet Earth.
And you can pull that we got that. Pull that Luke 1:74.
God, this is Luke chapter 1 in verse 74. It says that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear.
See, but So like it. Keep going, 25.
Verse 75, it says, "And holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life."
See, so whenever Yahweh Shemi Ashai is on our side, he will deliver us from our enemies, and he would show that we don't need to have any inkling of fear towards them. Then he will allow us to serve him before them in holiness and in righteousness for the rest of existence. All right. I don't know what's going on with this.
But you wanted on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to get straight to the point, because it's all in the Yahweh Shemi Shai. The fear of this world is nothing of worth. So therefore, why should we even dwell on it? Yeah. We should be all gung ho, 100% towards getting out of here and leaning upon Yahweh Shemi Shai all of our days.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get back to that Ecclesiasticus 2:11, or 2:12, and bow out.
Kind. This is Sirach 2:11. It says, "For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction."
See, he saveth in the time of afflictions. All right, but Baba Kushai, read that again. That's what he always left on.
Wisdom of Solomon 2:11. It says, "For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction."
He's full of compassion. He's full of mercy. All right, mercy towards the elect, for those that are toiling in this thing for his name's sake. All right, full of compassion. All right, he knows what you're going through. All right, he knows what all of us is going through, and all of us is going through the same thing, especially on the side with Esau Edom trying his best to knock us off our swivel, trying his best to keep us in the mindset of fear. But fuck that. All right, I don't want to be in the mindset of fear. I want to be in the mindset of fear. How about Shemi Shai? Okay, as it says in the Jeremiah chapter 28-18, the whole nation doesn't fear Yahweh Shemi Shai. They think he's a fairy tale. They're about to find out how strong and mighty my power is, our power is. Okay, but go to 12.
Yep. Sirach 2:12. It says, "Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and a sinner that goeth two ways."
So this world, Jake, these 2/3, they don't even have a mindset to stay focused. They can't focus on life, because this is the living, this is surviving. Esau wants to keep you in that mindset of survival mode. We want to live. So we're not going to live in the spirit of fear just because, this is how my day-to-day is going to go. Man, take me home. I don't want to be here. But hey,
that's it.
That's all I had.
Kind
of. The point was made. The water for listening. Hey, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Double honors again to the elders and the apostles of GMS that rule well. And peace and salutations to all the Akimat in the four corners, teaching about teaching on the four corners. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.